Cubicle Labs, an elusive branch of TheCubicle.us headed by none other than the god Chris Tran himself. So, what have they really been up to? Hey, what's up guys, this is TPC, aka the Programming Cuber, and today I'll be telling you basically everything you need to know about TheCubicle Labs. TheCubicle Labs was officially released about 10 months ago, on September 22nd, 2016, with the release of their first magnetic cube, the Huang GTS-M. Of course, some time was spent on the development of the cube before its release, so this wasn't really when the labs was first created. Even before this though, Chris had already been working in the Cubicle to create Lubricants Silk, which debuted at Nationals 2016. As such, I consider it essentially a product of labs. Cubicle Labs produces 4 categories of products: magnetic cubes, boron treatment, dyed cubes, and lubricants. And as you can see, during my break from the interwebs, I have received almost everything they have produced. So, without further ado, let's get into it. So I'm obviously not going to do a whole review on every one of these, but I will touch at least a bit on each one. I already showcased the Huang GTS-M when it first came out, and I currently do not have mine, but it was a great puzzle at its release and stood as my main for a long time. Compared to more recent magnetic cubes, however, I do think the magnets were a bit too strong for my liking on the GTS-M. The next cube out was the TheCubicle. This cube to the GTS-M for me was like the Zanchi to the Huang, another game changer coming from a game changer. The TheCubicle was already a pretty solidly built cube, however it was a bit fast. Adding that small tactile bump in the turn created a balance of fluidity and stability I had never really had in any other cube before. The magnets are weaker than the ones on the GTS, and I definitely prefer this strength. This, I believe, really solidified magnetic cubes as less of a gimmick of sorts and more of a real advancement in speedcubing, which I definitely think it is. After the GTS and the TheCubicle, Cubicle Labs branched out and released a magnetic 2x2, the Boron M, in February of 2017. I honestly don't have much to say about this cube. The magnets made it heavier, which I think many people will find to be an improvement since the original was way too light. However, some people find that the magnets have slowed it down too much, to the point where it's too sluggish to get good times on. I'm not the most amazing 2x2 solver ever, so it doesn't bother me and it's my main, but for the fast ones of you, it might not be the best. And the last of the 3x3s, the Huang GTS-2M regular and light. My first thought when the GTS-2 came out and I unboxed it and tried it was that it needed magnets. It was fast and uncontrollable like no other cube that's come out recently. However, I could see the potential because while the speed was ridiculous and stability was an issue, it was also pretty fluid and oddly satisfying to solve. When I received these 2 magnetic GTS-2s, my suspicions were immediately confirmed. The magnets add just enough stability to prevent overshooting, but they're not so strong that it slows the cubes down or makes them extremely bumpy. In fact, the magnets aren't very noticeable at all in the regular GTS-2M during a speed solve, and are even less so on the light. Personally, I prefer the regular as the light doesn't quite give me enough of a tactile feedback, however, some people do prefer the new light version. Finally, we have the big cubes, the magnetic Chi Wuche and Huang. Talk about game changers. Magnetic cubes larger than 3x3s are pretty amazing. Both of these were immediate mains out of the box. I received the 5x5 first, and it was about 2 weeks before a competition. This Huang is so good that it motivated me to practice 5x5 to the point where in 2 days I had dropped from a 225 global average to a 150 global average, and ended up getting a 145 average at Red Cross Open. Of course, no cube will immediately drop your times, but having a good cube is a really great motivation to practice. As a disclaimer though, I did come from using a teal Bochuang, which was not only bad in terms of performance, it screwed with my recognition too. The 4x4 was a bit less of a shock out of the box since I had already been using a non-magnetic Wuche, but nothing beats the unique stable feel of having magnets in a cube. I actually do have a gripe with this one though. The metal layers seem to stick a bit sometimes, as if the magnets are holding them too strongly in place. It's not too bad, but every once in a while it seems to get in the way. It could be due to my bad turning or me not breaking it in enough though. Other than that, it's a great 4x4 and another great implementation of magnets by Chris Tran and Cubicle Labs. All of the cubes I just covered are available for purchase on TheCubicle.us. Boron hasn't officially been released yet due to some issues with the process, but I do have one of the test products they sent out, which is the Boron Gans Air UM. But wait, what in the Tran is boron? Cubicle Labs has developed a chemical treatment that uses the element, you guessed it, boron, to treat the plastic on cubes. While it has a slightly different effect on each cube due to differences in plastic, the general effect is that it makes the plastic softer. It can be compared to the old plastic dians. The difference between a boron treated cube and the original is sort of similar to the difference between the stickless Zanchies and the stickered, if you guys still remember that whole thing. So, back to this boron air UM. It does actually feel noticeably different from the original UM. It's not a huge difference, but you can tell it's there, and it's extremely hard to describe. It's not exactly any smoother, nor is it really faster. The best way I could describe it is it's a bit more slippery feeling, which doesn't sound very appealing, but that's the only word I can find for it. It also feels a little bit scratchy, although that's probably because I haven't broken it in very well. The best way to feel the difference is to try one for yourself. But unfortunately, these boron treated cubes are pretty rare. The reason the GANs was not released to the public is some testers reported magnets dislodging due to the treatment. I haven't experienced that at all, but because others have, it couldn't be produced. Overall, boron treatment definitely has very high potential, and I think it is the next step in the advancement of cubing after magnets. So, I don't actually have any of the dyed cubes. Here are a few they released. They do them seasonally, as you can see. They look pretty awesome if I do say so myself, but unfortunately I have none myself to show you. Chris Tran's released work at TheCubicle kicked off with a lubricant, Lubrical Silk. It wasn't marketed under Cubicle Labs, but as I said before, I basically consider it to be a part of Labs. It was discontinued for a bit, but now it's been brought back. Silk was first sold at US Nationals 2016, and people rushed to buy it, and for pretty good reason. It makes your cube faster, and also, as the name would imply, silky smooth. The next lubricant released by TheCubicle, which is actually marketed as a Labs product, is DNM37. Aside from the kind of science fiction-y name, this lubricant is actually straight out of a mad science lab. It is water-based, just like a popular lubricant you probably all know, Marolube. However, what you also probably know about Maru is that it is probably the shortest lasting lubricant in the world. You do an average of 5 and it's gone. Here's where the difference lies between Maru and DNM. DNM's formula allows it to trap moisture from the air, preventing it from drying up. TheCubicle actually released a video demonstrating this difference, which you can check out by clicking the card above. Overall, DNM is essentially Maru on crack. It has the same immediate effect on the speed of the cube, but it lasts for many more solves. And finally, the newest lubricant out of TheCubicle, Lubrical 1. Again, it's not technically marketed under Cubicle Labs, but it's another development for Chris, so I mark it under Labs. This is another kind of mad scientist lubricant. It's silicone based, unlike DNM, and contains Teflon. Teflon is commonly found in non-stick cooking surfaces, and as such you probably know that it has a very small coefficient of friction. This lubricant contains small particles of Teflon, which make their way into the small imperfections in the plastic as you break it in. So not only does the silicone base make the cube feel smooth, the Teflon reduces the friction between the pieces and thus makes the cube much faster. The ball bearing in the bottle is to break up the particles. But wait, there's more. TheCubicle has just revealed Lubrical Black. It's not out yet, so I can't give any opinion, but essentially it's a specialized lube for metal on plastic surfaces, and is designed for lubing the core. Magnets aren't just the Cubicle Labs thing. The idea has been picked up by cube companies and spread to other puzzles. Moyu and X-Man, or Chi, have both produced magnetic pyraminxes. Moyu also has a magnetic cube, and X-Man just came out with a concave cube that's also magnetic, and very good. Cubicle Labs partnered with GAN to create the first mass-produced magnetic 3x3, the GAN's Air Ultimate Magnetic. More recently, a mass-produced magnetic GTS2 came out, which some people have reported has a problem with the magnets falling out. However, I got a mass-produced GTS2M at Nationals, and I haven't had any problems with magnets coming loose. In fact, I ended up using it in competition, and although my averages as a whole didn't go well, I got pretty good singles, and it's now my main. I believe a mass-produced magnetic Volk is also on the way. Z-Cubes also released a magnetic 3x3, which uses the mechanism of the MF3RS from Moyu as a base. It's okay, not great, but the price is great for a magnetic cube at only $14. So, over the year Cubicle Labs has been operating, they have released some, in my opinion, game-changing products. What they're doing is truly representative of how this activity can be taken to the next level, and how it can continue to advance in unique ways. Massive thank you to TheCubicle and Chris Tran in particular for their support of my channel over the couple years I've worked with them, and I am eternally grateful that they have allowed me to explore all of these different puzzles. Everything I talked about in this video I recommend. I won't fool you guys and say they're cheap though. Due to the work put in by the people at the labs to create these puzzles, they are sold at premium prices. If you can't afford them, don't worry. You don't need the most top-notch cube to improve. But if you have the money to spare, they are definitely worth checking out. Before I end this video, I have one more thank you to deliver, and that is to all of you. For the past 3 months, I have completely slacked off. I haven't uploaded at all. I haven't even made an attempt to make a video. It was bad. And I don't know. I wish I could take it back. I wish I could try to squeeze time out of my schedule to make a video, but the truth is I just completely slacked off. I was lazy. But then all of you like came back, even though I hadn't uploaded for like 3 months. Every time I commented on a video, you were like, immediately came on, you were like, are you dead? And then you're like, can you please upload again? I was like blown away by that because I didn't think people would even remember me because I hadn't uploaded. So that was amazing. And yeah, so this video in itself, you know, not just this little clip of me right now getting sentimental, but this entire video is part of my thank you. So I want to come back with a video that not only was a quality video for all of you, but it was something that I could be proud of myself too. Like, I wanted my comeback to be something I could be proud of, not just a 1-minute video of my face. So yeah, I worked probably about 15 hours total on this video. Obviously not all at once, oh god. It was like spread out, 15 hours. The past 2 days have been all editing, probably about 10 hours of editing total. And I'm finally done. The editing is why I look like this right now. I probably look like I haven't slept for the past 3 days. And yeah, so I need to end this clip because this is gonna be too long and I'm just rambling now. But thank you so much for sticking with me. Thank you guys so much. I'm being repetitive, I'm being redundant, but thank you. But there is some bad news that comes with this. I'm sorry, but I can't make a nationals vlog. I really wanted to, believe me, I really wanted to, but I did not get enough footage at all. Like, I did not get good footage. So I can't make a nationals vlog, unfortunately. Lexington, I was on staff, which was way too busy, so no vlog for Lexington either. So no comp vlogs, unfortunately. And yeah, so that's about it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video.